back at my old blogs, I said loads of shit that was totally just outrageous looking back at it now. But then it's all just a learning curve, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, you learn as you go along.
And
I'm not...
you can't learn until you acknowledge that you don't know enough.
No, yeah.
Oh, is that profound?
Yeah. No, it's true. And we're always trying to understand. And I think probably the Jay Goody Shilpa thing was a real turning point in this country.
A sea change.
Yeah, what it actually was. And I remember how I reacted to that. That was like a visceral reaction, like from the heart, of that just being so wrong. And if you look back at it, like, it's not like, oh, suddenly now we're realising, oh, fucking hell, black people, like, oh, the country is racist, the world is racist. Like, we've always known it, but now that it's just, there's a lot more happening around it, and
it's almost like you have to face it. There's no way to avoid it now.
It feels very meaningful what's happening at the moment, and a lot of people who are like friends of ours, like, I don't want to name names, but people that we know very, very well, and friends I've worked with, and a lot of people, and I'm sure Dan and other people, just are feeling a very emotional, real reaction to this. And it's like, okay, finally people are listening. I think people have been listening as over the years, but I don't know, it feels a bit different now. But then at the same time, I'm like, is it different? Is something actually changing?
Or
are
we just living in an echo chamber of people who are open to this? Is
it just going to be like, okay, well, that happened and then nothing changes again? But I think what your boyfriend Dan said on his Facebook, if you don't mind me mentioning it, was so... Because I was thinking, I'll be totally honest, about the people going out protesting during coronavirus. I was thinking... Fuck, I was looking at those scenes on TV, and I was bashing Lewis for saying it, and I will admit it, and Lewis will listen to this and saying, oh God, why did you say this? But I was thinking it myself, honestly, thinking, shit, like, I really hope there's not a second spike because of that, honestly.
Yeah.
And then when Dan said, like, the fact is, like, oh, I'm so drunk, I wish I could articulate myself, saying, like, this is so important that it kind of supersedes that. Like, our chance to talk about this now is so important that it actually, the chance of going out and, like, making his mum ill, and people, like, going out and taking that risk, and the black community being more at risk from it, and still going out and still doing it and still saying that. I was just like, fuck, like, that's really powerful, you know. God,
you get emotional.
Because I'm drunk.
Yeah,
Dan, do you know what I mean? Please paraphrase it better than I did.
My boyfriend said he hasn't been out for the reason that his mum is immunocompromised. He hasn't got a mask. But he understands that people are now going out because, like you say, it's bigger than that. And I said to Lewis, who's one of our Twitter friends...
Hi, Lewis. And who always says something controversial, and you knew he was going to.
Yeah, that this... People see this as a chance to make a change, and that is bigger than a virus, but people are putting themselves at risk of a virus, and no one wants to put themselves at risk, but if you see the chance, you take it.
But even my mum, who can be, an old person and can be a bit racist, not to say everyone is, because you said what your dad said was very powerful, he was, like, getting it. But even my mum, I was on the phone to her and she said, oh, the news is so awful at the moment. She said coronavirus and obviously what happened in America. And I was expecting her to kind of say, like, oh, the protest, like, is a bit risky. She didn't say it. And I thought, maybe even she realises, like, this is something bigger than it.
Anyone that criticises people going out to protests, unless you're critical of people going to the beach a few weeks ago on bank holidays, you're an absolute hypocrite.
Exactly. And with Dominic Cummings going out and fucking breaking the rules, I mean, I think the rules have just got a bit more lax. And actually, if you zoomed in on those photos of the protests,
people were wearing masks.
People were wearing masks, and people were actually separate. If you look at it from a sort of bird's eye view, it did look like there was a massive, massive crowd. But when you panned in, people were actually, as much as they could, separate, and the fact you're going out there and putting yourself at risk in that situation kind of says more in a way.
Really,
what did your dad say? Because that was actually quite. No, hold on. Sorry, it wasn't your dad. God, I'm so.
My dad said something about the TV show yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, it was Molly's granddad.
Oh right, what did Molly's granddad say?
Jesus Christ, I'm so senile. He said, if it wasn't for coronavirus, he said twice as many people would be on the streets protesting. He said, I would be out there. Yeah. He's like 80. He was like 80 something, and he said, I would be out there. And I thought, fucking hell, I wish, like, well, I don't have grandparents, but like that was like quite admirable, like, to hear that. especially from, because you just tend to dismiss older people as being like a bit racist.
Yeah, because they did it from a different time.
Yeah, and they can be, but they fucking ain't all like that.
No.
Although people putting that statue in a fucking river was fucking cool, I must say.
Yeah, well, this is the thing.
That was so good.
We walk amongst so many monuments to people who were slave drivers or traders who profited off of...
That is gross. And like 11,000
trading people.
11,000 people had signed a petition to get that statue taken down, and it had been ignored. So they just fucking knocked it down.
Take it into their own hands.
When people knock it down, I was like, that is so dangerous.
But
That is so dangerous.
Yeah, like, in case it crushes
Yeah.
Yeah, but and you see those people trying to fish it out the next day.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
Why?
A few tattooed white men, of course.
Oh, were
trying to get
they?
out. Yeah, of course they were.
National Front, probably.
Fucking idiots.
But I just want to put across, like, it is like such an important time, and there's a hell of a lot going on, and I am very, very ignorant, but we're doing what we can to learn, especially Gaz. Gaz has been...
I've learned
a hell of a lot lately.
A
hell of a lot more than I have.
I've done a bit of reading, but
You have?
also I've consumed a lot of documentaries and entertainment around these themes as well. And then Dan and I watched on Netflix the other day the 13th, which is a documentary about the 13th Amendment, which is abolishing slavery in the US, but also the prison population. So basically, the gist of this documentary is America's prison service is privatised, so they have quotas, basically. So they need to put people in prison.
Yeah, I know about this.
And they target black people. And then it kind of juxtaposed audio from Trump's campaign to images from, like, way back when America had segregation and stuff. And he's going, get him out of here. And, like, it's a black guy in a Trump rally or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, it's startling the way it looks. And I just said to Dan, I just feel like nothing's going to change. With Trump in charge of America, nothing's going to change.
No.
And I was just like, what, these protests and everything, it's a great, like, showing of people's feelings and emotions, but what's actually going to change? I don't feel like anything is. And then he was like, yeah, but look at, like, how far America's actually come from slavery to now. Like, it's taken a long time. And of course there's still massive problems, but, like, that is a huge change. Like, change does happen.
I guess. It don't feel like it, though, does it?
No,
when he's
really.
in charge.
Not really.
And him calling,
It's
like,
embarrassing.
people in the protest thugs. And then Boris Johnson said it was thuggery and hooliganism. Priti Patel, I think, said hooliganism. And I was just thought, don't you say shit hooliganism with, especially getting Priti Patel to say it, like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. But the government has to say, we don't think you should go out and protest because of the health.
I get that, and I get that
line.
some people who break the law and throw shit at the police and blah blah blah, and that's a different contingent.
To be fair,
some people just go out for a ruck, don't they? Let's be honest.
People will jump on it, of course.
Of course they do, But to go, I just think associating words thuggery and hooliganism with black people is just so wrong.
It's a bit dehumanising.
Because thuggery, don't you think I asked you to describe a thug or a hooligan, wouldn't you describe like a fucking fat, white, bald, fucking...
yeah.
person,
Football,
like you wouldn't.
drunkard,
Yeah, I don't think
Brit
black
abroad.
people are hooligans. Yeah, it's fucking white people with fucking George's cross tattoo on your arm. That's a fucking hooligan, not a fucking black person. So fuck off.
No.
It just pisses me off, especially getting Priti Patel to say it's just like no, just like no.
What is her role? She held something.
I honestly don't know. She's such a cunt. She's just a horrible person. She's a bully. She's been bullying her staff and everything.
Oh.
And she's a Tory, so fuck her.
Well.
You know when you just get like the Daily Mail gets like a black person to write a column like, oh yeah, young black men do need locking up because, do you know what I mean? They just get they just get like a black person that's like, oh no, like why?
Need locking up.
Yeah, it's true. I see it all the time in the Daily Mail. It's just like, hopefully things are changing, but. No, I do hope things are changing. We shall see. We shall look back. We'll definitely look back at 2020 and think something. That's for sure.
I read something about like 2020, like as bad as it is, it feels like it had to happen. Like it's like pivotal change that needed to happen.
Interesting. Yeah. I definitely think, moving on from the racial conversation, I think...
It's funny how we went from 4 new white housemates to Black Lives Matter.
We had to address
colonialism, slavery.
We had to address it though. But I do think we will appreciate our lives more after coronavirus. I hope. Appreciate our freedom more and, you know...
Even our TV shows more. Plenty of Big Brothers have been cancelled because of coronavirus.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the next gig I go to, I'll fucking enjoy it twice as much as the last gig I went to, you know? Although that was Morrissey, so it was. Oh, God. That's problematic in itself.
Do you know what? And
moving on.
I even raised your Morrissey dedication to Morrissey the other day in relation to the Churchill statue.
Oh my God!
Because Churchill is a known racist who actually didn't he incite sort of a genocide via some sort of infection amongst Indian people.
Oh, I don't know.
I know
he helped stop Hitler though.
Exactly. Well, that's what we do know. Oh, he's a hero. He's a war hero. But actually, there's a whole load of questionable issues, views or whatever, with Churchill. And I was like, it's funny how when you're a fan of someone, you'll kind of excuse them of anything. It's just a bit like in Lindsay with Morrissey, all the stupid shit he says. But she'll never see the bad.
But no, I do see
you
the
do
bad.
See the bad.
The interesting part of Morrissey, and I don't want to deviate too far from Big Brother Australia,
no.
but... and I know it's not excusable and I know it's not forgivable, but Morrissey was there for me in a very pivotal time in my life. And also, I don't speak to my dad, and Morrissey is like my dad. So I can't turn my back on him, even though he is a bit of a cunt. But I just love him regardless. But don't get me wrong, he's like an old granddad who says some racist shit and you're just like, oh, granddad. You know, he's just like that. That's what it's like. But you don't agree with him. You just think, oh, why do you say that? It's stupid. And you're just like, that's dumb. But you can't hate him because of it. But you are disappointed with him because of it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
But I'm never going to turn on him because he's done a lot for me. But yeah, it's wrong.
It's like Big Brother. Done a lot for all of us.
It's like... and I will never judge anyone for it, except, people excuse Michael Jackson and people excuse all sorts of stuff. If that was someone who helped you at a time in your life, I'm not going to say that's not okay because you have your own reasons, you know. What can we do?
Now should we talk about Big Brother a bit now?
Hell. Right, are we on episode 2?
That was about 4 new white housemates coming in, that was.
Right, so the 4 new housemates are in. Alan got her to drink some water. Okay, so Chad...
He's a model by career and a tradie by heart.
I put not exactly Tim Dormer, is he?
He's the model, the one with toes. Oh, he's not that good looking.
No, I'm saying, where is the characters? Where is the Tim Dormer? Where is the Tully? Where is the Drew?
Where's the Ben from Brisbane?
Drew wasn't really much a character.
No, Drew was definitely not a character.
Well, he was. Oh. Where is the who was the person last series who we were saying earlier?
Australia?
Yeah,
Priya.
Australia. Yeah, where's Priya?
Where's Priya?
Why can't I remember anyone?
Where are those 2 twins? Are they twins?
What twins?
Lucy and someone or other.
Oh, God. Fucking hell.
Do you like Chad, the fact he's got a toy poodle that he dresses in the same outfits as him? That's cute.
No.
I actually have to say I got emotional in Chad's VT. You remember why he's there?
Dead dad.
Dead dad.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Big Brother. Doing it for dad. Doing it for pops.
You got to have a dead dad. It's obligatory. So then Talia was angry going, these newbies, they don't understand what we've been through since day one. We've been here all of fucking 24 hours.
Days, yeah.
What have you been through exactly? Evicting of the black person in the house. Oh, well done. Well done. Good job. It's just whatever. And she's like, these new intruders need to work for people's friendships.
I find it really interesting that in Australia, intruder is a culture. So a new housemate, even though Big Brother's told you they're a new housemate, they're always going to be thought of as an intruder.
It's literally 2 days later and they're intruders. And I just thought, people will be friends with who they want to be friends with. It's not up to you. It's not decided on whether you're in day 1 or day 3 if you're friends with someone, you know. And then Grant...
But it is interesting how the situation, Cruise Grant, Garth,
the
environment gives people that mentality of, we're the OGs. These people
and I get that.
New. They don't
I
belong
get that
here.
when someone comes in
place.
When someone comes in 6 weeks in, I get that, and I'm on your side.
But even after 3 days, it still happens. I think that's interesting psychologically.
If it's 6 weeks in, I agree with you. But...
I want to know what Judy James has to say about this.
So then...
Shadow boxing. Did you have that?
No, what was that?
Talia and Daniel were shadow boxed. They said, watch out. Roxanne Pallet.
And so then Talia, was moaning to Big Brother about it, and Big Brother said, why do the new housemates need to respect you?
Oh, yeah. And she said, what was her reason?
Respect is a big thing for me. And then Garth said she's a lioness of the house, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to cross her.
So I like the way they edited this. Actually, I mean, it was interesting. It was like the story they created around it was Talia was going, "I need respect from these intruders," and then they were all in the pool having fun. She walked out in the